Last night I hosted a mastermind with 15 coaches in Bali and it was an absolute ball. But when I was at the mastermind, there were three key things that I believed were holding these coaches back from scaling to 10 figures a month plus. And I work with 27 current clients right now who are coaches, consultants and agency owners, all looking to scale their business. And this is a common theme that I'm seeing across all of the service-based industry people who are looking to scale their business. So I wanted to make this video to introduce exactly those three concepts and why I believe if you can solve these three things, then there is no reason why you can't scale past the 10K a month and beyond. And we're walking around the lovely streets of Bali. My name's Sol. I used to be in the corporate 9 to 5, and now I've scaled my coaching business to over 6 figures in 104 days. And hopefully that gives me some sort of social proof to actually speak about this topic. So I wanted to tell the first thing that I believe people do wrong is that before they are trying to actually scale their coaching offer, they spend way too much time building a course. So problem number one is people go and build a course, and you might have a coaching offer right now or a consulting offer or some sort of course allows your clients to absorb information. And while that is great as a starter way to build service delivery, the problem that I found is all of these coaches that I was speaking to, they had built 20 hours of resources and they had thought about all these amazing courses they could build, but they just didn't have enough clients. And the way that I built my course was completely different. And let me explain to you the exact way that I've done it. And I still get amazing client results, but I've built it in a sensible way. And the way that I built my course is I've thought, what is the most essential things that my client needs? So for example, if they need help with content, what are the essential things that are going to help them with content? If they need help with sales, what are the essential things? And I put together no more than about 2 hours total of resources and a few worksheets. And what I did is I sold my time. So instead of selling like a course and resources, I said, you have 24/7 access to me. You can message me whenever you want. And that's going to be the way that I get amazing service fulfillment, because everything that I have is in here and everything that you have is in here in your brain, right? And then I was like, okay, cool. So we've got that in my brain. I'm selling my time. And then what happens is you'll notice as a coach, you'll notice that your clients keep asking the same questions. They'll always ask you, oh, like about this certain thing. You know, if you're a fitness coach, they'll always be like, what do you have for breakfast? And you'll be like, okay, so I now need to make a resource about what I have for breakfast. And if you're someone who coaches people on mindset, they'll ask you, you know, I really struggle with accountability for setting an alarm. And then you'll be like, okay, I need to make a resource or make a course or make something that helps them with that specific problem. And I built my whole course that way. I was just like, okay, all I'm going to do is give them the basic resources, and once I've given them the basic resources, then I'm just going to build my courses and resources around all the problems. And what I'm left with now is a big course. Obviously I have 26 clients, so I've scaled quite a lot, but what I've got now is a big course, but that course is all just specifically built around my clients' problems. And the problem that you'll have when you're trying to scale your offer is that you put so much time into your course that you don't put enough time into actually doing lead generation to get people into that course. It's a beginner problem that coaches make, but also an intermediate problem where people are like, okay, well, I'm just going to build this whole course because it's going to make me feel like I'm productive, but you don't have people in it to validate. And now I have built a course and a set of resources that are absolutely specifically great at solving the problem that my clients need. So that's great. That was the kind of the first thing that I realized when I was talking to all these people, is they were just spending way too much time basically making these useless resources. And then what happens is someone joins your program and they're like, oh, well, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. This isn't very useful. And then they just stop watching the whole thing. And then the whole course is useless, or all of the resources are useless. So the way that I tell my clients, and the way that I was telling people last night, you should build a course, is all about basically building backwards. What are the problems that your clients have? What do they keep telling you they have as problems? And then make the course that way. And that is just leveraging your time, because all you are doing is transferring what is on here onto a piece of paper. Okay, cool. That was the first problem. The second thing that I saw from the mastermind last night, was that people do not charge high enough prices. And it's almost a joke in my community that I say you need to charge abnormally high prices. And there's a reason that I say that. And that's because I truly believe, and I've closed 150K's worth of deals in terms of on a high ticket closer, as a high ticket closer, and also within my business, I've closed, as I said, 6 figures and above. And the thing about that, and as I say that, it gives me the authority, I believe, to say I've watched people spend ludicrous amounts of money on deals, on programs that I was like, okay, like this is a lot of money for a program like that. And it made me realize that, man, like prices are just made up. Money is made up. Money is a construct, and it is a denoter of value. And you denote your value when you post certain prices, or you have certain prices. And I found this funny the other day because I was walking around Bali and I was going to get a steak, and one of the places that does steaks is like £2.50, $3 for a steak. And when I went there, I was walking past and I was like, it just doesn't seem right that it's that cheap to get a steak, right? Like even in Bali, like a good steak, or most steak places would be $10, £10, something like that, right, to get a steak. And I was like, you know what? It just doesn't seem right. There must be something wrong with it. And then I realized that your pricing is the exact same as that. If you're charging cheap prices, what that tells people is your product and your service and your coaching is not of good quality. How can you expect people to think you're a premium product if you don't have high enough prices? And everyone yesterday, one of the biggest things we spoke about was just this mentality around what you should actually charge people. Like you should charge people a incredibly high rate because you should believe you have made an incredibly premium problem. And if you don't believe you can raise your prices, then the bad news is you don't believe in your product enough. And it starts off with people doing weekly pricing, which just makes me laugh so much. Like weekly pricing, you can decide at the end of the week if you want to get involved. And a few people last night were doing that, and I just find that ridiculous. I sell people into a 6-month sell people, instantly they're like, oh, sell's an awful thing. I bring people in to a 6-month program. The 6-month program is life-changing. It costs a lot. However, I know that we get amazing results, and I know that it's an investment, that the ROI is always going to be positive. And that's why I charge high results, because I believe that my program is absolutely amazing. The other thing about charging high things is if you charge someone £15 a week, if I charge you £15 a week, you'd go, okay, this was all right, but like I could just forget about it. I could just go, all right, that like £50 a week, that's not going to hurt very much. Just forget about the whole thing. Whereas if you charge someone a high amount of money, what you'll find they get better results because it hurts more. And there is a direct correlation between the people that I see who pay in full and the people who don't. The people who pay in full or pay more than they like feel that they can afford, or more than they feel comfortable with, they get better results because they feel like they've committed to something. And that is the amazing thing about what I see with high prices, is if you charge high prices for your coaching program, then what will happen is you will end up having clients who are more keen to work with you. And what will happen is they'll be more keen to work with you, so they'll work harder, they'll get better results, and that feels what I call the results flywheel. Because what you need is amazing results so that you can talk about your amazing results, so that you can then get prospects to see amazing results, and then they are more likely to join. So that is how you can make your program something that self-fulfills itself because of the results flywheel. And that's what I've done. I now sell people into my program by other people getting the results that they want, and that is another reason why my high price is important. Whereas if I charged literally 20 quid for my program, then what would happen is I wouldn't get amazing results, and all I'd be doing is bringing a client in, giving them service delivery, and then letting them go. Whereas I have this flywheel going around. So that's another reason that I told everyone last night. And if you are a coach, I fully believe one of the biggest things you should do is definitely double your prices. And it might seem hard, but you want people to say no on sales calls. You want people to be like, no, like that's too expensive for me, because that shows that you are charging a price which is premium, and some people in the market just cannot afford it. I always operate with the thought process that if I'm closing any less than 50%, then my prices are too high, and I raise them. And I gradually raise them. Like my price a month ago is less than my price now, because like over the last month, I've had less sales objections, and I've been like, okay, actually, my price in the market, dictated by the people who jump on the calls with me, is too low because I shouldn't be closing as much as I'm closing, basically. So people should say no. Anyway, that is the kind of rant about why I believe high prices are so important, and I've just seen it work too many times to not want to just have high prices and tell my clients to have high prices. Plus, the beautiful thing about the high ticket service that you're in right now is that you can finance growth with your high prices. If you have high prices, you can invest that money back into other coaches, back into paid ads, you can invest it into your service delivery. There's all these investments you can make. So I love that as well. So I love getting that up front. And just to add on that is that one of the things we spoke to a guy last night is he was charging about 3K per month. And I was like, why don't you just charge 9K? Or I said to him, why don't you charge 8K to incentivize it for 3 months? And just say, look, this is our package. We do 8K for 3 months. And what will happen is you'll have some people who go, yes, I'm keen for that. I want to be in for 3 months. I've got 8K. Great. And then you'll have some people who go, I just simply cannot afford that. I do physically not have that much money in my bank account. However, I would love to get involved for 1 month, and then I can pay you at the end of the month, the next month. Could we do installments? And then you go, okay, great. Well, if that makes sense and that's what you want to do, then let's just split it up into 3K payments. And then it's like, okay, you've not changed your business model, you've not changed your pricing model, but all you've done is just given yourself the opportunity to take more cash up front quickly. Literally that simple change has transformed my business and has transformed some of my clients' business, because instead of being a gym membership where they get paid every month, they are actually a program that people invest in. It's amazing. Imagine if you went to university and you paid like per week or something like that. I would have dropped out of university straight away if I'd done that. But you pay the 9K in the UK and you're in. You're in for the year, and that's kind of the same thing, right? Okay, so that was the second thing. I'm just walking around the street in a line here because this place is so nice, right? In the third thing that we discussed is you're not posting on YouTube enough. And I say that boldly and simply, is that you are not putting as much YouTube out there as you should. And I say it this way, which is, how the hell can you expect someone to ever want to buy from you if all you are posting is short form reels, or maybe even on X or on LinkedIn? It simply just does not build enough authority. I fully believe that the only use of short form is to funnel people into long form. There's no other reason why you should be posting on short form. Short form is to get people, I call it eyeballs. You want to get eyeballs. You want to get people looking at you. People know you as a person, as a coach. And then what happens is you need to convert them and take them to YouTube. I don't believe there's any other reason for short form. And all of the coaches in the room that we spoke to yesterday, they were doing well on short form. Like, they understood short form, they understood the importance of TikTok and Instagram, but they fundamentally weren't posting enough on YouTube. And in the last month, I changed my whole strategy with social media to prioritize YouTube posts. And honestly, it has been a game changer in terms of the people who have come to me. And that is for one reason, and that is trust. Because people do not build trust when they watch short form. People build trust when they watch a long form video. And short form fits into the whole system that I build because of the fact that it gets eyeballs. It gets people, it's like a movie trailer. It gets people being like, okay, I want to know more about this person, and I'm happy to now give a bit more time. And then you send them a YouTube video. But you cannot bring someone into your high ticket coaching program if you do not give them a YouTube to watch, because of the fact that YouTube is what builds trust. We need to get people to watch as much of us as possible before they jump on a call with us, because that is the whole point of creating content. So one thing that I would recommend you doing right now is using short form still as a coach. It's great, but prioritizing YouTube growth, prioritizing posting 2-3 times a week on YouTube, either just literally a selfie video like this, or go into a bit more of a whiteboard style, a bit more educational, or just post about your life. Just get YouTube videos out. And it's a fun fact that I'll leave you with my clients, that I know that every one of my clients watches at least 2 of my YouTube videos before they buy from me. And that means I need to be posting more YouTube videos, and I need to be sending more people from short form to YouTube. And that is the 3 things as a coach that you should be doing in order to scale. Thank you.